Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bumpkin News. Today is September the 9th, 2011. Last night we watched Mr. Obama's latest job plan. I think this is number 6, I believe. And we wanted to give you a little critique about this speech to a joint session of Congress and what we thought about it. You know, we didn't have to listen to the talk shows today, and didn't have to read online to find out what we thought about it, because we know what this president is about, and we have already lived through enough history that we can understand what this speech was about. We want to break this down into 3 parts: the practical aspect of it, the political aspect of it, and the Republican response to it. You know, this is a great object lesson for government students and students of government to see how our system works and the power that a sitting president has, and how he uses or can use that power. Okay, the first part of this, we want to look at the practical aspect of this. You know, the president, his speech, his jobs plan rested upon 3 legs. Those 3 legs were a tax cut, reforming the U.S. federal tax code, and deficit reduction of about $2.5 trillion. In regard to the deficit cutting and the revising the tax code, it's kind of like you have a dead skunk in your garage. Everybody knows it's there, and everybody wants it out of there, but nobody wants to remove it. And that's kind of how it is when we talk about the tax code and deficit reduction. First of all, let's go with the tax code. This is well nigh impossible to do anything with, except some minor tinkering here and there. We've had various plans put forth, namely flat tax, the fair tax. We heard Mr. Kane on the Republican debate the other evening mentioned the 9% federal income tax, 9% capital gains tax, and a 9% national consumption tax, which we, with reservation, we think would probably not be bad. It would certainly be fair, it would certainly be simpler, and certainly reduce enormous costs to business in this country, which by itself would create jobs and revitalize our economic circumstance in this country. But don't look for that. Anyway, that's one part of the president's the plan that he put forth. And bear in mind in these things, it's he wanted this done right now. To revise the IRS tax code, it would simply be an undertaking which would be gargantuan in nature when you're dealing with this bureaucratic nightmare that we've got, and a complex tax code that even the IRS can't comprehend it. And he wants to revise this immediately. He wants this done. You haven't done that yet? We remember when Mr. Obama first took office, one morning, I think it was about 10:30 a.m., he gave instructions to his administration. He wanted a analysis of why the economic collapse happened, and he wanted it on his desk by 4 p.m. that afternoon. That's the nature of what we're dealing with here. Okay, on to deficit reduction. Another skunk in the garage issue here. Who's going to do it? The president himself. He said early on that his administration was going to go through the federal budget line by line and identify those things that were wasteful and have them eliminated. He had the Deficit Reduction Commission that studied this for months, gave its findings, and nothing was done. Did he endorse any of their findings? You didn't hear very much about it. So this is another issue that is not going to be done right away. It's something that there's going to be a tremendous amount of haggling and bureaucratic and congressional controversy about this, and it's another issue that can't be done in a day, in a week, in a month. It's going to take a while. Congress has already passed the latest bill that created the super committee that is supposed to identify these particular cuts. Myself, I don't hold out any hope on this. Another delaying tactic of professional lifetime politicians. But anyway, another non-starter in the president's proposed quote bill unquote. The third area is the tax cuts. Now here it's pretty interesting. This is something that everybody wants, and the question is who's going to get them. And again, we're slightly akin to the tax code and how we're going to do this and what is attached to these tax cutting provisions in a bill. Again, that would be interesting to see. And the President also mentioned in conjunction with this no earmarks on these bills, which were reminded of a pledge that he gave early on that there would be no earmarks in any legislation he signs, and also any legislation he signed would be on the internet for public viewing for 5 days prior to his signature. Well, you know what happened to that. Okay, the next aspect of this jobs plan is the political aspect, and that's one where we think that this jobs plan is a combination of political stratagem and inexperience of the president, probably a combination of, well, we know it's a combination of both of them. First of all, you could have Adolf Hitler in a video saying that we need to stress the importance and elevate the goodliness of motherhood, and have each child in the country awarded a $50,000 grant, and people would stand up and cheer for this. Never mind how it's going to be done, but you just put the ideas out there and make the rosy statements, and you're going to get applause. And this was what the president was doing last night. He was filled with applause lines, and his supporters were roundly applauding this whenever one of these applause lines was given. And he put the Republicans, or attempted to put the Republicans, in a very bad light to people that are uninformed and don't understand the political stratagem here, is to make the Republicans look bad. If someone said that, you know, we need to make sure that everyone has a quality education in America, and everybody else was on their feet jumping and cheering, and I'm sitting there in thought wondering how can this be done, I don't look too good. I need to jump up and start cheering too, and if I do, and I don't really feel like that's something workable, if I'm in bear the responsibility for seeing that this is done, then I can't really jump up and start screaming about it. So definitely a political, campaign speech, heavy on applause lines, and practically non-existent on how is this going to be done. So he, once again, he showed his inexperience, and on one hand, and his political astuteness on the other hand. Okay, now the third area that we wanted to look at was what would be the, or should be, the Republican response. Not only the Republican response. I'm going to clarify this a minute, because in other videos you know that I don't hold that the Republican Party is synonymous with conservatism. I believe that the Republican Party is being forced to do everything that conservatism in America wants it to do. The conservatism is the iron fist inside the Republican glove, because the Republicans by and large are interested in holding their positions of power, not too much different from those like-minded people in the Democrat Party. But anyway, what could be done with this? Well, what politicians, our elected representatives that really desire the best for this country, I think what they need to do is break this down piecemeal. Take the Mr. Obama's speech last night and start giving him elements of this speech in bills without any earmarks, without amendments, but just simply bills. Let's say one bill would give a 50% personal income tax cut, 50% business tax cut, and an incentive to hire, let's say, an additional $4,000 tax cut per employee hired, and that would be it. And then move on to send that to his office, to the Oval Office, and see if he would sign that. Another one would be deficit reduction. Identify bureaucracies that are not necessary, are not needed, and put those in a bill to be eliminated forthwith, and send that to his office, the Oval Office, to be assigned. And then send a bill to his office that would eliminate tax breaks for corporations. And what comes to mind immediately is GE, General Electric, and some of the other big companies that don't pay any taxes, or it's below, let's say, what other companies of comparable size are paying. Put it all on one level of tax liability, so that they all pay the same rate. Remove those loopholes. Of course, now we're getting into revising the tax code, which I would go back to, although it'd be too radical, he would parlay that into some kind of a political disadvantage. But the 999 plan of Mr. Kane, the fair tax or the flat tax. But before we get to that point, present him with a bill that is truly fair and measured across the board. I think that would we would find out how sincere he really is about what he said in his address last evening.